The retail sector has always been a center of the U.S. consumer economy. Millions of Americans shop at the largest malls in their cities and towns every day. However, recent trends may indicate that the life of in-person shopping is coming to an end. Thousands upon thousands of retail stores are closing, which brings a devastating problem to the economy, as the retail store owners and millions of workers may soon lose their jobs and income. In this episode, we will talk about the upcoming grim days of the retail sector, the once most popular and most vital sector of the U.S. economy. But before we begin the story, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so that you won't miss any crucial economic trends that pertain to all of us. Big picture. Retail is one of the vital sectors of the U.S. economy. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the retail trade sector employed approximately 15.4 million workers, or 10.5% of all total non-farm employees in 2021, while contributing 6.0% to value-added GDP. Thus, millions of workers may face massive job layoffs as the retail stores are closing at a breakneck pace. Consumers who spend a lot of time shopping and choosing their favorite brands may not realize that they might buy their favorite product in their favorite store for the last time. Experts at UBS think that a staggering number of stores will be closed by 2026. According to their estimates, 40,000 to 50,000 shops may be gone in 4 years. This will turn once lively and packed shopping malls and centers into desolate concrete giant buildings that nobody needs anymore. Although UBS has decreased the projected number of stores for closure from 80,000 to 50,000, the unhealthy condition of the industry is apparent. There are many brands and chains that were forced to close hundreds of their stores across the country. For instance, JCPenney, Macy's, Sears, Gap, and Victoria's Secret have announced that they will close around 200 stores each in the near future due to low income and high expenses. The crisis has not only endangered the jobs of the ordinary workers at the stores, but the CEOs of the big brands are quitting their jobs due to the industry's problems as they have fewer customers. Among them are Gap, Bed Bath & Beyond, Under Armour, Adidas, Foot Locker, Dollar General, Kohl's, VF Corporation. Reasons why the sector is in crisis. However, what has driven the retail sector to such a crisis when the whole industry is on the brink of extinction? Mark Cohen, the director of retail studies at Columbia University, said, "It's an industry that trades with billions of customers, and it's an industry that lives and dies on the vagaries of consumer preference and behavior. Thus, you ultimately decide the fate of the thousands of stores and malls across America. And chains cannot adapt to new realities, so they become bankrupt and lose everything they have." First, and one of the most significant contributors to the rapid closure of retail stores is online sales. During the pandemic, millions of consumers have shifted their purchase habits from physical, when they visit stores, to online, where they can add an item they need with one click, and it will be delivered to their address. The convenience and safety measures of e-commerce forced large retail groups to adapt and change their strategy to keep the consumers coming. For instance, retailers like Ulta, Macy's, Best Buy, Nordstrom, and Walmart operate as fulfillment centers to process and ship online orders and as inventory held by their stores. In this unusual way of conducting business, retail companies are competing with e-commerce firms. According to Business Insider, the buy online and pick up in-store mechanism has saved many brick-and-mortar retailing from dying completely. In a way, it seems that retail stores have survived the most significant storm in their existence, but in the long-term game, they are doomed. Online commerce boomed during the lockdowns, when it was hard to reach retail stores. According to Morgan Stanley, Global online commerce rose from 15% of total retail sales in 2019 to 21% in 2021. It now sits at an estimated 22% of sales. We believe that the COVID-driven bump will not flatten future e-commerce growth, says Brian Novak, an equity analyst covering the U.S. internet industry. He sees e-commerce reaching 27% of retail sales by 2026. Across the world, we have yet to see a ceiling for e-commerce penetration. According to Statista, in 2021, retail e-commerce sales amounted to approximately $5.2 trillion worldwide. This figure is forecast to grow by 56% over the following years, reaching about $8.1 trillion by 2026. It can be noted that now is a transitional period from a physical store to online shopping. One factor that confirms this trend is that omni-channel shopping is becoming more popular. McKinsey & Company's research says that 75% of U.S. consumers are researching and purchasing both in-store and online. And this omni-channel behavior isn't confined to a few types of products. Consumers are doing it for both food and non-food purchases across a broad range of categories. Moreover, according to the data, almost half of the consumers say social media influences their purchases. As the U.S. economy follows this trend, in 5 years it is estimated that retail e-commerce revenue will double from $905 billion in 2022 to over $1.7 trillion in 2027. The second reason why the retail industry is in crisis is inflation. During the peak inflation months, in the summer of 2022, more than 8 in 10 U.S. consumers were planning to make changes to pull back on their spending in the next 3 to 6 months, according to a survey from NPD Group, a consumer research firm. Since there is no short-term cure for inflation, and the U.S. economy will be waiting for better times, this will accelerate the speed of the retail crisis. Big retail firms like Target and Walmart have been cutting prices to clear overstocked warehouses to stay competitive. Analysts and experts overwhelmingly say that the retail sector will face hard times in the upcoming years. This is because consumers have yet to pull back on spending, which will likely trigger a recession. So far, buyers have been resilient to the record inflation and continued to purchase goods as before. As a result, the beginning of the year was quite lucrative for retailers. The Commerce Department said that retail sales surged 3.0% last month, the most significant increase since March 2021, after declining by a revised 1.1% in December. However, everything has an end. In a Bloomberg article, Neil Saunders, managing director at Global Dartaplook, said there is a sense among retailers that the consumer has been defying gravity for quite some time, and they are expecting the music to stop, and no one really knows when this will happen or the extent to which it will occur. Another issue that endangers the future of retail stores is theft. This has been a rising problem for store management and big retail firms as they want to ensure that their shops are secure for the customers. In December of the last year, Walmart CEO Doug McMillon, at an appearance on CNBC's Squawk Box, said that rising retail theft is a massive problem for the business, and because of it, many retail companies will be forced to close their stores or raise prices. In this regard, the National Retail Federation said in its 2022 Retail Security Survey that almost 33% of surveyed retailers said organized retail crime had become much more of a priority and increased risk in the past 5 years. Lastly, any ad hoc crisis like the pandemic will immediately hit the retail sector, especially in-person stores. They won't be able to maintain the customers and will be forced to lay off hundreds of thousands of employees. The official data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that because of lockdowns and shifts in consumer behavior, the retail sector lost almost 800,000 jobs in 2020, compared with about 200,000 jobs from 2017 to 2019. To sum up, it would be safe to say that the retail sector has not been as volatile as now, and the perspectives are very gloomy for the entire industry. If you enjoyed the video, press the like button and subscribe to the channel.